We're alive.
All right. We have a special guest. A special guest who has been featured on almost every major network. So CNN, ABC, um, the Wall Street Journal, Times Magazine. Yes, his name is Jose Pereira. And Jose has his business, which is called JoseConnect.com LLC. And it was founded by him, and it empowers leaders like you, entrepreneurs like you, who have faith-based businesses to develop strategies, to have greater resilience, to have purpose-driven leadership. And through coaching and training and keynotes, he helps to navigate adversity, develop an unbreakable leadership mindset, and achieve lasting success. Now, his Unbreakable Spirit Leadership Program equips leaders to balance business success with personal fulfillment. And of course, Jose is a Christian. And so, Jose, it is such a pleasure to have you. When I met you, I was blown away by your story. So, the first thing we've got to get to is, oh, I didn't even say in the introduction that you were a CEO before. And then something special happened in your life, which we'll get into. And then, so you were CEO employed to an organization, a large organization. And then something special happened in your life. And then you now created your own business and you became a CEO of your own business. But we're going to jump right into the in between, the thing that happened there, right? And just to touch on that a bit, and then I will go into what it was like as a CEO before, right? So the special thing that happened in your life is that you became a political prisoner for 5 long years. Tell us about that, Jose. I mean, how does somebody get abducted and become a political prisoner?
Well, I'm Venezuelan born, and I began my career working in Venezuela in the oil and gas. People that are familiar, Venezuela back in the 70s, 80s was one of the most wealthy countries of Latin America, and it was the oil and gas company was the fifth oil company of the world, and Venezuela had the second biggest production of the world in the 70s. So we were big. I began my career there. That, by the way, my dad and my granddad were also in PDVSA. So we are like a fourth generation because my son also works in the oil and gas. So we have been 4 generations of oil and gas workers in Venezuela. I began my career when I was 21 and began to, as a young guy, try to climb the corporate ladder, and I did it because I did that all the way along my career. I have a finance background, so my career began in finance. But at some point, I began to go more to the project side, and I became more connected to the project, joint venture. I went to the international side, and in that process, boom, I came here to the U.S., to the U.S.-based company that is Cinco Petroleum. Cinco Petroleum, the people maybe that are here in the U.S. are very familiar because Cinco has 6,000 gas stations here in the U.S. It's very large. It's very large, has 3 big refineries, like 2,000 kilometers of pipelines, 78 terminals. So it's very big here in the U.S. And I continued my career there. And at the end of my career, 2017, I became the CEO of the company. So I was 35 years career, CEO of the company. In the pinnacle of my career, I was done with that. But began to happen something during that time. That was the regime that was in Venezuela. Unfortunately, was having issue with the administration that was here in the U.S. By the way, the same administration that today it came back, the Trump administration, they were having issues like they're having today. And like 6 months before what happened to me, that I'm going to mention what happened, it began to be a lot of political issues between the two countries. And we inadvertently, because I never thought, because I was not a politician, that I could get caught in the middle of the situation.
You told me some time ago that you went to Venezuela to make a speech. It was not a political speech. You just
No,
went there to make a speech. And the next
yeah,
thing you knew is you were taken hostage.
yeah, because we were at that time we were revamping a refinery in Aruba. You know, the Aruba refinery. We were doing the revamp. Citgo Petroleum was doing the revamp of that refinery, and we was doing well. And we were asked to go to make a presentation of the status of the revamping. So for me, it was a normal business. Was in November, end of November, was during the budget season. So I didn't see nothing wrong. But at the same time, I was asking to get retired. So I got approved to get retired. So literally, that was my last trip before getting retired.
So
But
you were thinking that you're going to retire in a way that
I
you
was,
retire,
I,
and you did
yeah,
not retire that way. You retired instead, not being able to do anything.
Michelle, let me tell you, I went to the
Yes, sir.
trip with the intention to come back the day after, take
Uh-huh.
a vacation, and 2 months after, get retired. I was in retire mode. So,
Uh-huh.
but that's what happened in life. You make plans, but God sometimes have another plan for you.
The word of God says that many are the plans of man, but it is the Lord's plans that will
Of
prevail.
course.
Now,
Of course.
no. So you made the speech, and the next thing you knew, you were abducted and you were now taken and you are now in prison with the other executives from your company.
Mhm.
And I want you to tell me about the self-leadership that you had to employ in order to get yourself through the most difficult time of your life.
You know, it was a process. And by the way, today my speech that I do that is from captivity to freedom, I talk about it because it was a process. It was a process. At the beginning, we went through a lot of, uh, you know, normally when you go to a situation that is adverse in your life, the first reaction would be always denial. This is not happening to me. So I went through that process, very, very, very common, the human nature to deny things. But then comes a moment that you had to take the decision that said that this is your reality, and you had to decide if you embrace it or you stay there. You know, so that is that, you know, when the turning point comes. For me, it didn't come immediately. It took months because I got, first of all, I got isolated. They put me in solitary confinement. So my mind was all over the place, you know, thinking that I would never come back. I was
Mm,
totally lost. But it comes the turning point. It comes the turning point when you say, hey, stop. This is
mhm.
your new reality. You have to face it, you have to embrace it, and you have to move on. When you
And
do,
so you said something very important, Jose, because although many persons here will never, thank God, go through that kind of imprisonment, what you're talking about is just how to look at situations in our lives in general.
Mhm,
The
mhm,
person who is listening to us right now, I want you to think about what is a difficult situation that you're going through right now that you're saying you do not know how you're going to make it through. And the first thing Jose said is that rather than being in denial, you embraced that this was your current reality. All right.
mhm,
Continue to take us through that so that we can see all, how the principles that you apply to your incarceration are the same principles that we can employ in our difficult situation, whether that be at work, in our businesses, or at home. Continue, Jose.
yeah, you can mirror it. You can mirror it. And let me tell you, my coaching program is exactly that. I mirror our situation to the situation that you will be going in your business. Because when you're having a business, maybe you're having problems, you're having struggles. So maybe
Mhm,
you can, people get stuck there and get in panic, go
mhm,
in anxiety, depression, and then the business go down. Or you
mhm,
decided to make those setbacks your comebacks. So there is a difference. And let me tell you, there's a big difference because this is a very personal thing. When you decided, okay, what I'm going to do, it could take you 1 hour, 1 day, 1 week, 1 month, 1 year. Okay, take it forever. There are people that never make it.
Mhm.
And that will make the difference when that person decides to embrace it. In my case, of course, there were several things that made me, do it in a strong way. The first thing was thinking in my family values.
Okay.
Thinking in my family that there was a family outside waiting for me. And the
Yeah.
second thing is when I decided to come back to God. That
Hey.
when I decided to come back to God, and now I'm hooked to the faith and hooked to the hope, because I have hope and I have faith, things begin to change. And that is something that I can tell to anybody that's hearing this in your personal life or in your business. If you are going to any situation and you decide to embrace it, to make your mindset shift to a positive mindset, you know that you have people that support you. You need to ask for support, but you need to also embrace God, because that's what I gave you the anchor. There's where that is the anchor. When you decide to embrace God and you say, no matter what, I'm going God, but I'm going to make this, and it gives you faith that you're going to make it, and you're going to make it, and you are going to make it.
So there was something that you said to me when we originally spoke. You said that while you were incarcerated, you ensured that you had a routine. So everybody think about whatever you figure your incarceration is right now. It may
Mm-hmm.
not be prison walls physically, but normally there's something that incarcerates us. Whether it is that we're figuring that our businesses are not earning sufficient money, or we're having challenges with depression, or we're having challenges with our families, because life is lifing while business is businessing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, yeah.
So each person is going through some form of incarceration,
Mm-hmm.
more than likely. But you said that when you were in prison, you saw generals cry and go crazy, but you were able to maintain your mind because you also followed a routine.
Yeah.
Talk to us about that, please.
Yeah, we created that is a very good point, because sometimes when you're going through a situation, you don't follow a routine. And you will always need to have routine in your lives. In our case, we were 6 guys. We decided to get together, the six, and one day said, okay, let's create what we call a survival. What was a
Follow
survival plan?
a
Survival.
survival plan.
So
Okay.
what was our survival plan? Was a routine. We created a daily routine. Routine, like beginning in the very early in the morning. You have to picture this. We were in a very tiny room, 100 square foot, 3 bunk bed, 6 guys, totally confined, small bathroom. That's it. So we were there in a very small place. The first thing was create a routine to eat in the morning, the breakfast. How we did it? We create an agenda. Everybody went alone. We had a tiny table with a small chair. The light turned off quietly. Nobody was making noise. So you took your breakfast in the solas with yourself, praying to God. And I finished, came the other, and the other, and the other. And when we finished, we rested a little bit. Then we decided to clean the room. Was during the pandemic. We were sanitizing the room, really sanitizing everything. Then we were reading, because by the time we were allowed to have books, time to read, reading the Bible, reading a book. I was writing letters with my wife. I was writing in a daily basis. I was smuggling letters with her. So every day I was writing letters to smuggler in the next days. We begin to have exercise. One of my colleagues, he is still a marathon runner. So he created a routine in that small space, to do jogging, static running, push-up, yoga, a lot of exercise, 2, 3 hours exercise. We were having fun. We created a domino tournament, for example.
God, you're in prison and having fun?
We did a domino tournament. Yes, we were playing domino. Yeah, we were playing domino. We were sick. We had three domino teams. And at the end of the day, we were reading the Bible and we were praying. And we were doing like Bible studies every day, reading the Old Testament, the New Testament, trying to understand. I discovered the Bible there.
All
I
right, so
rediscovered
the things
the
that I'm
Bible
hearing.
there.
Let me tell you the things that I'm hearing for all of our viewers. So you are going through a rough time right now, whatever the rough time is, professionally, business-wise, etc.
Mhm.
And you create a routine. It is a routine where you eat when you ought to eat,
Mhm.
you exercise,
Mhm.
and you keep a great attitude no matter what to make it
Mhm.
fun, because
Mhm.
incarceration and making it fun, oh my goodness, right?
Mhm.
The other thing is to remain rooted in the word of God. So those are the 4 things that I'm hearing that would have kept you in that time. So now let us fast
There's
forward.
missing a fifth one that is stay
Go
focused.
right ahead. Go right
Stay
ahead.
focused, because the fourth thing is leads you to get focused. Because when you shift to a positive mindset, you get connected to the people that love you, that support you, your support team. You take care of your well-being, and you got connected to your spirituality. That makes you be focused. So these are the my 5 topics that I talk in my coaching program that is this. So
Ah,
I created that a coaching program that is this that you see here, where I talk about these 5 topics. So you nailed it. You got to my 5 topics.
so say them again. Let's do. So number 1 is, so everybody write it down. Number 1 is
I begin always with be focused. The first
focus.
one, be focused.
Yes.
Positive mindset.
Positive mindset.
Connected to your circle of support. No
Ah,
matter what, if your family, if your friend, your colleague, whoever.
yes.
Take care of your physical and mental health, and
Yes.
connect with your spirituality or God. These are the 5 things that any situation that you're going in life, it any thing that you're going, if you apply these 5 things, you will
Mhm.
always make it.
Ah,
Because we did it in a very comprehensive way. When I came back, I began to study this, because I began to go to trauma center because I was having some PTSD event. And by the way, let me tell you, if you see my book, this guy that appears here, Brian Klossman, he did the prologue of my book. He's the director of the biggest trauma center here in the US, because I was there, and he blew his mind when he knew me, my story, because he could understand that what we did are things that they teach. So we did it without knowing. We were doing based on common sense.
based
We
on
were doing things literally, but now I understand that this is something that is a process. That's
Mm.
why I create the coaching program, because it works. It works in your life. It works in your business. It works. It works.
So what I heard is that you would have progressed through the levels of along the corporate ladder.
Correct.
You became CEO, you figured you're going to retire, and now you get thrown in prison, which
Mhm.
then now was a rebirth into the new Jose, and
Mhm.
now becoming an entrepreneur. So, and very often when we think about our journey from employee to entrepreneurship, there is normally something that happens right in the middle, some amount of turmoil. So for the persons who are listening and they're saying, I've been wondering if I'm going to go into entrepreneurship. There's normally something that happens right in between, some amount of turmoil that is going to then shift you into it. Now, you come out and you're now going to start your business. Tell us how your business would have started. Why did you start that business? How did it start? Tell us that.
That's a good question. I came back in less than 3 years ago, I came back in October 2022 through a prisoner swap. So when I came back here, I don't know what I'm going to do with my life. I was done with the corporate oil and gas because I didn't want to know nothing of that. So I didn't know what to do. So the first thing is because today I'm part of the hosted community here in the US. I got connected to the community. I support foundations that work in that area. I got connected with hostage families and former hostage. So we begin to create that bond. And at some point, I was kind of coaching some of them because things that we were doing, we were trying to teach them how to do it. And I found myself coaching others. When I was thinking to get retired, I always was thinking to become a consultant, but a consultant in oil and gas. I never thought to be a consultant on leadership and resilience, nothing like that. But when I began to see that that was helping others, it was helping me because it was helping to heal them and to heal me. I said, I believe that there is something that I want to explore. So I began to speak and I begin to go to conference. I begin to go there, to go invited. And that's where I decided to convert this in a coaching program. That's why.
So Jose, what I'm also hearing is that some persons are trying to figure out what is it that I'm supposed to be doing with my life? What kind of business am I supposed to start? And I'm hearing from you that it was something that you were doing so naturally already.
Yes, yes.
You're saying that you are healing them and healing you. So I want you who are listening to us, think through, what is it that you're doing so naturally already that is healing others and healing you? And just something that just flashed to my mind when you said it is that even with my own business, I started doing stuff that were natural to me.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a matter of, everywhere I did it. Nobody was asking me to do it. I wasn't even conscious I was doing it, right? But then people would keep on coming. Oh, Michelle, can you sit down with me? Can you talk to me? Can you coach me, etc.? And I suspect the same thing would have been happening with you. And then what happened is I went, oh, hey, there's something here. So for the person who is listening and trying to figure it out, I want you to listen to Jose's story, but make sure that you're immersing yourself into it. So continue, Jose. So now you realize, something healing them, healing you, you've struck gold. So continue now.
Well, and then comes another piece that when I came back, as I said, now I'm more connected with God, but I needed to have a revelation. So when I begin to get connected to my church and my pastor is an incredible person, and that began to reveal what was my purpose.
Hey, all right.
So there's where everything changed. When you decide, okay, this is my calling, this is my purpose. I found that that was my purpose. And that began to give me joy. I began to feel joyful with what I was doing. So I said, this is what God was telling me to do. Not the corporate. Forget about the corporate. The corporate for me is another life. I always talk about my previous life. That life is gone. Today I'm a different person, and today I'm doing something that I really feel that is my calling. My calling. And let me tell you something else. That during those years, I had a lot of time to revisit my life and see the things I did wrong. And one of the I was a CEO, okay? So one of the things that I did wrong is that you get disconnected to your family, you get disconnected to your friend, you get disconnected to God. You are always thinking in climbing the corporate ladder. So part of my coaching today, that's why my company is called Jose Connect, because created Jose Connect, because Jose Connect is connecting your business success with your personal fulfillment. So there's where you have to connect. And this is something that, Michelle, I was a CEO of a company. You have a lot of unspoken challenge. You never talk about that. So you're in your business and you're the leader in your business. Everybody loves you. And you go to your house and you're miserable. You don't have connection with your family, your kids, your wife. Maybe you're going through a divorce. Maybe you're drinking. This is so common to happen. And then you say, are you really successful? Is that what you want to do to be successful? Or you want to be joyful? The only way to be joyful is when you got that connection, because that is the perfect connection. When you are successful in your business and you are successful in your life, and you have that connection with God, because that really will give you the complete package. Because now you're okay in your business, okay in your family, and okay with God. You're gonna be successful there, and not only successful, you're gonna be abundant, because the abundant is that is giving you joy. What you're doing is giving you joy, and the business is coming alone, because that is part of that. It's a biblical principle.
What's the last thing you said? The business is coming along.
It's a biblical principle. That's a biblical principle, because
So hold on, Jose, because you make it sound as though I wonder if I'm interpreting this right. So it sounds as though you're saying, and the business just flows in. Is that what you're saying?
Of course, because when you connect with the grace of God, and you profess that, you're now a leader in your business, that you're faith-based. So
Yes.
so you become a servant leader. You try to you now are more careful of your employees. You're more empathetic of them. You understand them better. You are more empathetic with your clients, because you understand them better. You try to be more kind with the person. That will begin to attract that good thing to your life. That your business is going to become successful, because it's going to be an attraction. It's something that if the people understand that, we'll do it more.
When you said that, it strikes me that very often when we're in our 9 to 5, we are doing things, we know about client care rules and principles, and 1, 2, 3, you ought to do X, Y, Z in order to maintain client relationships.
Correct.
What I'm hearing you say is that just through the fact that you are enjoying what you're doing and you're remaining connected to God, are flowing so naturally in your servant leadership and service that people just naturally start to be attracted to you. So it's like it's people always ask, what's your unique value proposition? And what I'm getting is that becomes it. The persons don't even necessarily realize that, but it is a Christ in you that is now attracting people. Okay, all right.
I have, let me put you an example. I have a very good friend that, by the way, she is part of my church too. She's the director of a very, very large company that is in the cosmetic area for women. She's very successful. She's a director of the international director. Every time she begins a meeting, the first things that she does, she prays with her employee. So she prayed with them, and they're always putting worship music, and she has created that atmosphere in their employees, and always are giving this principle to the employees. She's very successful.
Where I live, that would be accepted for persons to start with prayer. Many persons live in countries where that's not so. So, for example, I find it strange that you're saying that, because I know that in the United States, it can be a little bit ticklish, and other countries too, it can be a little ticklish. So is it that she has just decided that her business is a God-centered business, and she has decided that whatever come what may, this is the standard here?
Yeah, that is her view. And she's not forcing nobody. Let me tell you, there's not forcing that you have to come here, you have to be Christian. No, no. It's something that comes naturally. She creates the atmosphere in her company. And because I have been a speaker in her event, so I know the way she does it. And I always tell her, you always are going to be successful because the way you handle your business. But it's not that you're not forcing nothing. It comes naturally. It comes naturally because when you are a faith-based leader and you really act in consequence, what is your best part to manifest your values in your company? So you're open, communicating with your employee. You are always hearing them. You become more empathetic. You are more kind. You're more compassionate with them, and that creates a tremendous loyalty because you become trustful. You become trustful, and the person see you like a better leader. And at the end, you create the atmosphere in your company. Many people, they're not necessarily are Christian, but they have this type of value. And they create that atmosphere too. So I'm not saying that you need to have this value, but of course, if you are a Christian, the your first place that you have to practice is in your own company.
And tell us, Jose, tell us more about what biblical principles we as entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs or leaders can apply to build purpose-driven and profitable businesses. Notice the part of profitable. So purpose.
Well, there are several. For example, one biblical principle is the integrity.
Is
integrity.
integrity.
This is a biblical principle. Be integrity. That means to be ethical. A business, you have to be ethical in your business. So this is a Bible principle. That generosity, those successful leaders has always been generous. The other day I went to an event in Hershey, when they do the chocolates, the Hershey. I was at an event in Hershey. I never had been there. That's in Pennsylvania. And and when I came to the town, that town was created by Milton Hershey, the creator of the chocolate. I was a big time Christian, but what I got surprised was his generosity. That guy gave so much to his community, and today the whole town has his name. The hospital, the airport, the chocolate factory, the street, everything is hers. Because that guy was big time a giver to his community.
Jose, people often say that if you give away too much, then people don't value you. But you're saying the total opposite to that.
I'm going to mention you a biblical principle.
Yes,
you give, and then you plant that seed. But who really multiply is God. And the multiplication doesn't have to be nothing with human nature. Sometimes you can have your multiplication in a way that you cannot imagine because it comes from Him.
Are you able to give an example of something that would have happened?
Oh, wow. My life, I can tell you, when I came back, my life was totally screwed up. My finance was totally screwed up. After 5 years, can you imagine all the stress, physical, mental, and financial that my family was having? So literally, I had to come back and start again.
Wow.
I needed to start again, but I never had lost the faith that God will provide. And I began to do church service, and it began to come back everything. Because this is something that it comes, but you need to believe it. Remember, the faith is that you believe, what you haven't seen yet.
Yes.
Okay, that's the faith. So you believing, even you're going, anybody that's hearing this, you have a business, maybe the business is not going okay, but if you have faith that your business is gonna be better, that will give you not only faith, it will give you strength. It will make you be more resilient to the situations. And you will find your path. You will find your path. And it will maybe take time, but it will come. But you need to be focused on that.
So I hear we need to have integrity. We need to be generous. So this is biblical principles now.
Biblical principle. I can show. I have the diligence. You can see it in Proverbs 22:29.
Yes.
The generosity. You can go to Corinthians 9 from 6 to 7. Talks about generosity. The servant leadership. Who was the most great
Jesus.
example of that? Who was the greatest servant leadership of the world? Jesus Christ. So when you are a servant leader, you take care of your employee, you take care of your community, you take care of your clients. You are human-centric, and that, again, will make you a better leader, and things will come along. And the things will come along. Let me tell you, one of that, part of that, my coaching, I talk about the servant leadership. And today, that became a superpower. The leaders that are servant leaders are the best leaders, because in the long term are the leaders that are going to become successful. You can be an autocratic leader, you can be a visionary leader, that's okay. Sometimes you have to practice that depending on the situation. But when you are in the long term, a servant leader, in the long term, you will always be successful. Because you're going to be okay with your employee, you're going to be okay with your client, you're going to be okay with your community, because you're a servant leader. And at the end, that will create that atmosphere that your business is going to become successful.
And so what I also heard then is an important part of it is humility. So very often when persons want their businesses to thrive, what we do is we're pushing. And you're saying, step back and think of others first. Right? So you spoke about integrity, you spoke about generosity, you spoke about faith, right? And we talk about servant leadership.
And stewardship is the other one.
And stewardship. And so those are the things that you're saying we need to focus on as Christian entrepreneurs. So you said that your finances were a total disaster.
Total disaster.
And this is what you employed in order to now get your finances back to a great place and then have financial freedom. But was there any point in time when you're saying, boy, you're applying these various principles and you are not seeing it work? Was there any time like that?
Well, let me tell you, Michelle, I don't know if this is a total miracle, but my wife and me begin to practice in a very consistent way, and we never lose the faith. We knew that God was going to begin to restore everything, and He has been doing it. Because remember, God makes possible the impossible. Things that maybe you don't believe, it begins to occur. But you need to have the faith. The first thing is you need to believe in yourself, you have to believe in God, and you have to have faith, and you have to see yourself not where you are today. You have to visualize where you want to be in the future. This is another thing, the visualization, the power of the visualization. And stepping a little bit back, I'm not talking about mentalism. I'm talking about visualizing things, walking with the grace of God, things that come from Him, because you need to have the wisdom and the discernment to know what is coming from Him and what is not coming from Him. Let's be careful with this. So, but when you know that what you're doing is your calling, is your purpose, and it's coming because God is what He wants you to do, and you go. It will happen. It will happen. Things will happen, but you need to believe.
Because anything that he has purpose for us to do is what he would have already set up success for us. So he's not going to give us a purpose and not give us success if we are doing it. That's what I'm hearing you say.
Let me tell you something else, because I have a friend that the other day he told me something that blew my mind. He said, if you want to ask something to God, tie it to a purpose. For example, you want to have a house, and
Yes.
you are praising for a house, tie it to a purpose. I want to have this house, and here we're gonna put a group that we're gonna pray God. We're gonna be so you tie it to a purpose. Tie things to a purpose. Always tie. Don't ask, I want a house. No,
Yeah.
tie it to a purpose. When you tie it to a purpose, it will give it to you.
The scripture that comes to me, the one that says, we have not because we ask not. And when we ask with the wrong motive. And the
Correct.
motive is the purpose, right? So
Yes.
therefore, if we are saying, Lord, give me financial freedom, then we need to tie it to the purpose of financial freedom.
Of
So we
course.
know that because it says that a righteous man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. And
For
so,
example, every
yes,
morning I pray to God, God, give me abundant and finance freedom, but not to have money in the bank, because I want to serve others. I want to do this in my mission. I do want to help my church. I want to give back to others. I want to continue with my speaking, with my coaching. I want to give support financially, mental, to my family, to me. So you begin to tie things to purpose. So you're creating an atmosphere that is something that is working in His grace.
yes, 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 yes. And so for everybody, right? So you're listening to us right now. What is it that you have been saying, Lord, I want this? And what is the biblical foundation that you should be going to? So, for example, some persons are saying, I want a home. And we know in the scriptures it says that many would have welcomed
Mhm,
angels without
mhm,
even knowing because they would have opened up their homes to
mhm,
strangers,
mhm,
right? We
mhm.
also know when it is talking about the qualification for bishop, the fact that they're supposed to be hospitable. So I know that there are pastors and pastors' wives who are listening right now. And we know that that is a qualification. So you want a house. It is, Lord, allow me to have this so that I can be hospitable in this way. And so whatever it is that we're asking the Lord for, so the financial provision is not just financial provision to floss and show off
Correct.
and all of that. No, it
Tied to a
is,
purpose.
it
Tied
is
to a purpose.
tied to a God purpose for
Correct.
the thing. And then
Correct.
you would say, as you were saying, that the finances come. Jose, I have a client, well, had, right? Because it was in a previous role. And he's a successful businessman, a Christian man. Oh, let me tell you about this man. So I was selling stocks to him because I was in financial advisory. And he said, Michelle, I'm not comfortable with this. I'm like, why? I mean, you make so much money and stuff. And he said, anything that comes too easily is also lost very easily. And he wasn't comfortable with it. I was like, very, very odd. That's what I was thinking to myself. Years go by, and I recognize that this man is deeply rooted in the Lord.
Mhm.
As a matter of fact, sometimes we'd have investor briefings, and I would say to him, hey, Mr. So-and-so, we're having this thing. And he said, no, today is a day for my family, and it's a day that I'm going to spend time with the Lord. This is a
Mhm.
weekday. And he said, no, you can't make me come there even with the promise of greater money. He said, it's okay, the Lord will provide. But he has told me that this is where my priority ought to lie. Fast forward, I'm talking to him now, thinking about going into business for myself. And I said to him, boy, tell me about the difficult times in business. He said, I can't tell you that. I'm like, what are you talking about? He said, I can't tell you. I've never had difficult times. I said, everybody has had difficult times. Everybody says this is so difficult and that is so difficult. And, you know, there were times when they were wondering where the money is going to come from. He said, Michelle, that's not my story. I said, how can it not be? He said, because the Lord has always provided for me.
Okay, that's a good.
He said, I put the Lord first. There was another client.
When you put the Lord first, you're gonna be abundant because you're giving to Him first. Because this is another biblical principle.
Yes.
The first tithes go to the Lord.
The Lord. So that's what I was just about to share about the other clients. I said to him one day, what is the secret to your wealth? And he said, the more I give to God, the more he gives to me. He said, when I was a poor man, I gave to the Lord. When I was okay, I gave to the Lord. When I became rich, I gave to the Lord. When I'm wealthy, I give to the Lord. And the more I give to the Lord, the more he supplies. But it's not because the Lord is an ATM machine, because it's not that we give to get. Well, we know
Because the Lord doesn't need the money.
he don't need
He doesn't need the money.
no.
Is that you know that He is who provides, and that's why you give to Him. Because remember, you plant the seed, but
Yes.
there is a miracle how that seed multiplies. Sometimes multiply less than the other, but it depends the way you give to Him. So you plant, but you don't multiply. Multiply is Him.
Mm-hmm.
Is Him.
It's him.
And when you give to Him, that seed never abandon your hand. It always come back. And you're not doing to come back, but it's come back. It will come back.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's a biblical principle. It's a biblical principle. And that guy that said that is exactly that. If you give now and you continue giving every time, it will be multiplying because it's that way. It is something that is natural the way it begins to happen.
Mm-hmm. 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 And so if you had to package a piece of advice to Christian business people, whether you are an aspiring entrepreneur or the person's already an entrepreneur, what advice would you give in terms of how to align their faith and financial success?
Well, the first thing is, as I said, you need to have faith in yourself and in the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically. You
Mm-hmm.
need to have faith. You need to visualize yourself and ask God every day where you want to be, because in what you're visualizing, it already happened.
Yeah.
In the spiritual world, the things already happened.
Mm-hmm.
What you have to do is provoke them to come.
But you have to do it too.
To provoke them to come. So you have to provoke the materialize in the physical world. But in the spiritual world, it already happened. The other day when I went to Hershey, that was a college event. I was talking with students and I was asking them, what do you want to do in your life? And then there's a guy that he said to me, I want to be a surgeon. And then I saw him and said, you're going to be a great surgeon. I saw him as a great surgeon. And something showed me that he was going to be, and he's going to do it. Maybe in 30 years, he's going to be one of the best surgeons here in the US. He believed in himself, and I saw him. I saw him. He's going to be a great surgeon. So you need to not only have the faith, you have to visualize, and you have to ask God, but you have to do it walking with His grace. It's not asking God, give me this, give me that, because God is not an ATM machine, as you said. It's not an ATM machine that you pull out, beep, 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 take money out. That doesn't work that way.
No.
But you need to really have confidence that if you ask and you walk in his grace and you give back and you serve, because
Mhm.
you need to serve. That is part of another principle. You need to serve others. Today, for example, I have a podcast where I teach this for free. I do events sometimes that I'm going to be next Wednesday in an event here in Houston in a college that they invite me and they said, well, I don't have to pay. No problem. I would love to go to talk with the kids because our kids, if my message get to them, I'm not only helping a soul, I'm saving a generation.
Hey, yes.
You're saving a generation. When you talk to those kids and you plant a seed to them, and then they, today here in the US, unfortunately, one of the biggest issue is the suicidal, pike is really high here in the youth. If you can talk to some kids and then take those thoughts from their mind, you're not saving him. You're saving generations to come.
Mm.
And that is a mission that God gave to me. And if I have to go, if there's no money, no problem. It's part of the giving. It's part of the giving.
And as you're talking about generosity, I know that you have a special gift for all of our viewers. And so please do tell them what is a gift. And I can tell you, I
I
didn't.
have several gifts, but there is one that really, for me, is very cool. If you go to my webpage, as I said, this is the coaching program. But if you go to my webpage is joseconnect.com. You go there and there is a special quiz. It's very cool. It's very
Well,
cool.
actually, I'm gonna make sure that they can get it at the bottom of this thing, right? That will connect them directly to your webpage.
Okay, you
Yeah,
go directly to the webpage. There is a section that is called special
sorry,
leadership
you're
quiz,
breaking up. You're
and you
breaking
make
up.
your quiz.
You're breaking up. You're breaking up. Can you
Huh?
say it again? You're breaking up.
Can you
Oh
hear
no,
me?
you're frozen.
How does something happen?
Okay, you're back.
Am I frozen? I'm okay.
No,
Okay.
you're back
So
now. You're back.
the image is frozen. Okay. If you go to my webpage, you take the questionnaire and it will give you what type of leader you are. It's
Mhm.
very cool because people can be a servant leader, can be a visionary leader, can be an autocratic leader, can be a purpose-driven leader. It gives you what type of leader you are. And let me tell you, we put a lot of brain to do that quiz so that the result, it will define really what type of leader you are. It's very cool. I invite the people to go and take it.
And I can testify to that because I went on and did it.
You did it. What type
Yes,
of
I
leader
went
you
on.
are? What leader you are?
I
According
think
to
it is because of the kind of business that I was in.
ah,
I came out as let me tell you, everybody. I came out as oh Lord, it starts with a P. The ones that produce. What's the name of that one again?
the purpose driven.
No, not the purpose drift. Surprisingly, I didn't come out as that one. I
Yeah.
came out as the kind of leader. I'm trying to find it. Um, it's not a purpose-driven one. Performance.
Performance. Okay, performance. Okay.
Performance. I came out as
Every quality of leadership has their own advantage and disadvantage. That doesn't mean that one is better than the other.
Mhm.
But because sometimes you have to apply, sometimes you can be a servant leader, but sometimes you have to be autocratic leader in some
Yeah.
point in your life, you know. So it would depend, but that will in average define what is the most type of leadership that defines you.
And I think I probably came out that way because I'm really so always serious about people getting results. So if somebody does something with me, I want to make sure that they can see the result right
Well,
away.
I can see that in you because I remember when you invited me to do this event, you were like oh, but she's very performance oriented. You know, you need to fill up the form. You have to do this. You have to sign here. He said, wow, a lot of things, you know, a lot of procedures. You know? So you are like that. So I guarantee that you're like that.
Right? I do the leadership styles change, or is it situational?
No, it can change. One
Mm.
of the things that I teach in my program is that the good thing is that the brain, you can retrain. You know, there are a lot of studies today that support that there is a lot of plasticity in the brain. So you can retrain yourself. That's why I talk about the unbreakable leadership
Yeah.
coaching, because people sometimes they can be hearing this say, no, but I don't have leadership quality. I'm shy. I don't like to talk. I don't have those skills. No, you have it. You have it. You don't know it, but you have it. So what you have to do is unleash it, and you can do it. You can, because the good thing is you can retrain yourself. If you
Mm.
want to change your leadership style, you can do it. Part of
Yeah.
the things that I tell that, of course, you need to ask for help,
Mm.
advice, consulting, mentorship, coaching, however you to call it, because that is what's going to help you to navigate this, because you don't have to do things alone. See, if somebody helps you, if you have a mentor, it will give you a quantum leap.
Yes.
So you will need to have support. That's why this type of program are so helpful. In my webpage, I have, you can go, I have a very personal letter that
Uh-huh.
I wrote to the CEOs that are struggling in their life. If you go there, you can download it. When I wrote the letter, I was thinking in me.
Oh,
I was thinking in me. What that Jose of the previous life. So I wrote the letter because I reflected myself in that letter. And I know that many people are going to get reflected there because, as I said, sometimes you're in your business very successful and you come in your house and you're miserable. You don't have a family. Maybe you're divorced, or maybe you're going through a divorce. Your kids don't talk to you. Why you want to be successful this way? Why can you not be joyful? Why don't you step back and regain balance with your life and say, okay, now I was thinking that I was happy. Now I'm joyful. Now I'm joyful because I have the balance. I have a family. I have a business. What you said, there are successful business here in the US that, for example, they don't open on Sunday because they give that day to the Lord for them and for their employees. And they're very successful business. And
yes.
they take the Sunday to the Lord. And they still are successful.
Actually, as you're talking about that, what's the name of that fast food chain again? The one that, um, oh gosh, their their mascot is a cow. What's the name of that one again?
The Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A.
Yes, yes,
Well,
yes,
that
yes,
I
yes,
didn't
yes.
want to mention it, but that is one
Right.
case. There are very Chick-fil-A is a very good example. Chick-fil-A not only gives the Sunday to the Lord and for them and for their employee, but they practices. So the people that work in Chick-fil-A, they have that practice, that servant leadership practice there. And the people that work there, it can stay years, forever, because they do a career. There's another business here called Hobby Lobby. There are like it's a very big store that sells everything. That guy is very Christian centered, and Sunday he gives to the Lord too. And these two business, they practice that, they give the Sunday to the Lord for them and for their employees.
I actually read the Chick-fil-A story, and it said that when they looked at one of their major competitors, they recognized that they could do in 6 days far more than their competitor could do in 7. And we know that it is the Lord that blesses.
Multiplies because the employees feel blessed. Because this is the other thing, because when you have a business run with those people centric, the people are more joyful, see you're more trustful as a leader, and you create the atmosphere, the environment in your company is going to be blessed. So the people will try to come to work you will not only retain employee, you will gain employees because the world is a great place to work. Everybody will like to go work there. So it's a
Oh Lord, you're broken up again.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I'm hearing you again.
Okay. I saw that you mentioned about frozen. Is he hearing me?
Hearing you again. I'm hearing you again.
Okay.
Yes. Well, Jose, I'm so thankful that we have had this conversation. And so for the person who right now you're climbing the corporate ladder, that is where the Lord wants you right now, no problem. However, if it is that you're getting that nudge and the Lord is saying to you, hey, I want you to transition, do not be surprised if there is some kind of disruption that happens in your life, just as it would have been incarceration for Jose. And I'm happy that he was able to come out of that, employing certain skills that would have now helped him to keep focused. Those 5 things, right? That would have included taking care of your focus, your mental health, your positivity, your physical health, your
surrounded with the people
community, yes, and your spiritual.
And the spirit, yes.
Exactly.
These are the 5 tools.
It's 5. And then I pray, and as a matter of fact, Jose, I'm going to ask you to pray for them at the end, right? I pray that when you do transition from employee, whether you're employee CEO, to now being an entrepreneur for yourself and CEO for yourself, that the Lord will increase your business once you now start to apply those various principles.
Correct.
A couple of them, just to remember: integrity, generosity, faith, stewardship, and servant leadership.
Yes.
Right? And do not forget to go on. You're gonna see Jose's free gift to you that comes up, and you will be able to do your leadership test right there in order to see how you can strengthen your leadership.
Correct.
Self-leadership and leadership of others in order that your business can thrive.
Correct.
Jose, thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here. Jose, I'm gonna say exactly what came into my heart to say. I love you.
Thank you.
Right?
Thank you. It was awesome, the connection. We were connected, was through Tara? What was who connected us?
I think
it was Tara.
I think it was Tara.
Tara has become a great friend, and she's very faith-oriented too. She is part of the movement that we are, that is the C-Suite of Christ. I'm here in Houston, part of a community that is faith-based, called conscious capitalism, where we're trying to put the movement because capitalism is not bad. Bad is the communism. That is bad. Capitalism is not bad, but you need to do it human-centered. That service first, and the business comes after.
Exactly.
Service first, the business comes after. And serve to your community, serve to your employees, and that will create the atmosphere that will bring you the abundance.
Amen. So can you pray for all of us?
Oh, Lord, today is being a blessing being in this program. I pray that the people that are hearing this are getting my message. I pray that Jesus Christ is touching their heart. I pray that I plant a small seed to make them flourish their business. I pray that the people that are hearing this will take the 5 rules that I teach them, walking with the grace of God. I pray that they go back to you, they have more faith in you, that they are really thinking that walking with the grace of God, they will make their business to be successful. I pray that those that are making the transition to being entrepreneur, seek the wisdom of God, ask wisdom. I pray that the people ask wisdom and discernment so they can begin their business and be faith-based, centered, giving back to God. I pray that people think that if they give back, they will receive. I pray that the people go and ask for God to multiply to them, but doing always with the grace of God. Amen. Amen.
Amen. In Jesus' name, amen. Thank you so much, Jose. Thank you so much. You know what? Let me give you an emoji. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.